r/ask Reddit. What are some common signs that someone grew up with shitty parents? When they think they always caused problems for others, and when they are emotionally and socially closed off, so it's very hard for them to be more sociable. etc. Edit. Thanks for the awards and making my day better, lol. That ever-present feeling of being a burden and having done something wrong gets ya. I'd never known how I felt until you put into words. Thanks, man. They tell traumatized stories and think they are happy memories. Edit. Wow, I did not expect this to hit so hard with so many people. Thanks for the awards. They tell traumatized stories and think they are funny memories. Was telling my older stepson a funny childhood story when he suddenly looked very sad and hugged me. They are always trying to figure out what they did wrong and what they're supposed to be doing and how, while editing their own thoughts and feeling vaguely bad. I always felt like every little mistake was my fault and I should apologize for being such a bad person. I wasn't a bad person. I was just a child being a child. Make a mistake around my mum. In public it was the look. Even my teachers saw the look and knew. She freaking knew and did nothing when I cowered over something small and stupid. At home it was full on hitting, screaming, getting in my face, destroying things. To my mum, I'm this awful person who doesn't deserve to be treated nicely. Everything bad I did, accident or not, was just to hurt her. Get sick. Doing it to hurt her. Forget something. I 100% did it on purpose to hurt her. It would end in her hitting, screaming. Got pinned to a wall and screamed in my face quite a few times. Thrown out, all over insignificant things. I was a normal kid. I pushed normal boundaries. I never did anything truly horrible. Just typical kid stuff. Nope. I was the worst child to ever exist. Even as an adult, mum didn't stop thinking of me like that. She'd still attempt to hit me. Unfortunately for her, I was faster and got out of the way. It's freaking awful knowing you're on edge all the time waiting to be hit even years after you escape the abuse. And you can still dodge without conscious thought. She would still scream at me like I'm a bad child needing severe discipline. I still feel like I'm a bad person. That mum would have loved me if I'd just been different. Better. That feeling will never go away even though I know it's not true. I was just a kid, reacting to a crappy situation. She got off easy when I got older. She made out I was the worst kid teen ever. I wasn't. I know I wasn't. Control freak. They grew up in chaos, alcoholism, gambling, foreclosure, and are obsessed with averting some unforeseen disaster. I'm in this comment and I don't like it. It sucks because it feels so out my control. I'm always afraid in a run out of money's shame the shame. They're completely unwilling to open up and share anything because in their experience it will always be used against them. For me, I have the opposite problem. No boundaries about what to share. I can never tell how close I am with someone and I am comfortable basically telling anyone anything. But I think it comes off as weird and a turn off to people. Like a red flag. I just want to connect emotionally with people so desperately it is like I will do it with anyone who will converse with me. For me, I am a bit of both. I would share way too much at the beginning and once I feel that connection with them I would immediately close up. Deep down inside I feel insecure about sharing with closed people. Doesn't talk about their interests because parents have never showed interest, belittled them. Another take on this. It stunted our social growth. Due to my parents never caring about what I was interested in after giving up on me being the sports kid, I now carry a type of vibe that makes it easy for people to talk over me when I'm mid-sentence and a lot not even realize it. I genuinely cannot hold a conversation like a normal person because I never had casual talks with my parents to learn any of that. I never had casual talks with friends since what I learned from my parents was that people only speak to me when they want something or need help. Open bracket. Online is a godsend though since I don't have to look at people or I can take my time to respond. Now let's talk about people needing help. 98% of the time I'll help someone if they need it. Mainly out of fear said person will get mad and yell at me. So now I can't even tell if I'm a selfish person or a good person and I struggle every day with that. Too long didn't read parents should care about their child's interests and talk to them like they're people too. If not, they'll more than likely go down the same chain I did and have to learn socializing at 26 and onward. Edit. I'm so sorry so many of you understand, and at that same time it's comforting to know we aren't alone. You all deserve happiness as much as anyone else. 3. We got this. Thank you for the silver BTW. I believe it's a first for me. This is how it was for me. My parents mostly didn't respond to me or anything about me. Good grade? Nothing. Bad grade? Nothing. Hey, I did this drawing. Nothing. I'm sick. Nothing. It's important to be socialized properly as a kid, and that starts really young between parent and child. Unfortunately, I was considered a weird kid when I started going to school, so I didn't get much in the way of socialization there either. Now I'm stuck trying to learn how to be a proper human in my 30s. It's pathetic, and no one has the patience to help me learn that in real life scenarios. Feels like I'm always going to be stunted like this. They don't understand simple gestures of kindness. Took my husband a long time to understand that my parents liked giving little gifts to people and doing things for them. That they weren't trying to insult him or us or make us feel incompetent. They were just showing affection. Edit. Some people are focusing on the gift part of this, while I was trying to emphasize the kindness, like my dad or brothers offering to help or keep company when he mentioned he had to fix the deck or paint the shed or go to the junkyard for a car part. To him the offer was insulting and suspicious. To them it was just what you do to make someone's life easier. But in his family that notion didn't exist, so he couldn't figure out why it was happening, except he didn't think it could be a good reason. I get so anxious anytime my in-laws give me anything, especially since they're pretty well off, or letting us borrow money for an unexpected vet bill. Money was always used against me. I'm extremely defensive and would rather cut off my left ear than put myself in the situation I had with my parents. It's getting better over the years, but still is really challenging for me. My in-laws give us so much and they aren't even wealthy. It used to make me feel so insulted or incompetent, but now I know it's out of care and love. I knew a kid who'd instinctively cover his head whenever someone was behind him, and he'd refuse to sit or stand anywhere that didn't have his back to a wall. His older siblings beat him up regularly. He'd frequently be coming to school with fresh bruises, and when a girl tried to comfort him he thought she was just trying to lure him into a trap and hit her, which got him expelled, and growing up I'd see him around town. He dropped out of school completely and got into drugs. His parents never gave a shit. Never. Not ducking once. He had nothing because his older brothers would steal and destroy anything he ever owned. Even his clothes, so he'd wear the same thing for weeks on end. Is it any surprise that he's been in and out of prison all his adult life? Parental apathy is ducking shit. And to add a cherry on top, his abusive older brothers went on to live pretty happy, fulfilling lives. But the little brother they tortured and abused for years became the societal and family outcast. That's really heartbreaking. Parental apathy is ducking shit. If you can always make a choice for them and not for you, to keep them safe and give them voice when times are troubled too, if you can meet and know their needs, to hold them free from pain or guide them through when pain succeeds, and help to bear the strain if you can, hope to never part, and swear inside you won't then raise a child and share your heart. But if you can't, then don't. People who try way too hard to please and are terrified to put themselves first. This is the saddest trait because it's the easiest for fresh predators to take advantage of when the parents are out of the picture. If only terrible parents knew or cared that they were grooming their kids for future abuse. Edit. Putting yourself first in this context does not mean being selfish or narcissistic. It means having the capacity to set healthy boundaries. It means understanding that your opinions have merit, that your emotions matter, that you should have complete bodily autonomy, and that you shouldn't fear the wrath of Zeus if you say no. Also, it means that you should never have to do anything you're uncomfortable with to earn someone's love. I feel this entire childhood spent pleasing others. Now I feel like I've gone the complete opposite direction. I'm too harsh and beachy. I can't seem to find a safe middle ground. Same. It's so hard to trust. My brain convinces me that everyone who tries to get to know me has ulterior motives or wants to hurt me, which is logical, given the way my family treated me. I've mostly cut off my parents because the relationships were too toxic, and now every conversation I have with them their bitterness is apparent, and they make sure that I know they think I'm a bad person for not continuing to be in their life and accept their abuse. The only person I'm really close to is my husband, and it took him years of patient, gentle effort before I let him in and could accept that he loves me and it's safe for me to love him back. They don't form attachments to others. They grew up in an environment where such attachments were a negative and or resulted in negative outcomes. Narcissistic parents are the worst. You can't beat them, so you stop playing the game. 20 years goes by with you wondering why you are alone. Then a therapist points out to you they have been shaping your relationships the whole time by shutting down your ability to value them. Dude, my therapist asked me why I felt like no one ever actually loved me, despite being a few long-term relationships over the last 20 years. I said I really couldn't pick out a boyfriend that ever made me feel that way. He said, anyone else? And that's when I realized that my parents suck. They go out of their way to please people. They can't take compliments because they're so used to being put down. They flinch if they hear someone raise their voice or if loud noises. Edit. I'm going to add in the fact that they're not good uncomfortable with conflict even if they're not directly involved, because they inevitably get dragged into the conflict when their parents are arguing. Ironically, my dad was the first person to realize that I apologize and flinch and even startle a lot. Didn't do or change anything to help me though. Same here, and it's about as coincidental as a murderer being the first to realize they murdered someone. When I told my professor in graduate school that I wasn't going home for Christmas, he said, oh yeah, I mean, your parents can't be the best company. I've seen you apologize for being too polite. Like, yep. Oh damn. Sorry my guy. My wife does this. I'll say something like you're too sweet when she does something nice, to which she replies, oh, I'm sorry. A lack of self-esteem shows up in so many different ways. My so basically told me that I make her worry because I don't boss her around, which leaves her always wondering if I'm disappointed in her or if I feel she's not being a good girlfriend. If I boss her around and she follows my commands, then she knows she's done what she's been told and has nothing to worry about. This has become less of an issue over the years. I refuse to boss her around. I try to show appreciation instead and remind her that I love her. But she still worries she's not good enough sometimes, and I hate that. I don't blame her, but I hate it more than anything. I feel she's never been good enough for her parents, which has left her vulnerable to date guys who take advantage of that and also made her feel like she's not good enough. Edit. To all the people suggesting therapy, she would love to get legitimate therapy, we just aren't financially in a place where that's affordable. She's in an online support group though. She says it really helps, but she wishes she could do the real thing someday. It's great that you're modeling normal, good, respectful behavior for her. You're a good boyfriend. Not being able to remember the majority of their childhood. I'm talking about huge gaps of time you just cannot recall. I get it. Repressing the memories is just the mind trying its best to protect itself. Yep, it's startling hearing my older sister talk about her elementary school years. She remembers so much. I have specific memories, but there's a lot I forgot or have a hard time recalling. My mom was asking me questions about my elementary years a week ago and I could feel myself tearing up because I just couldn't remember. I wasn't bullied, but I felt anxious and uncomfortable all the time in school. My friends remember everything about my life in high school and I forgot it all ASAP. They're a desperate people pleaser. Someone who'll leap to the aid of anyone. Who'll give up anything they have so that someone else doesn't miss out. Who will go well out of their way to be of assistance. And who abhors needing any help themselves. This is deeply me. I genuinely hate myself even though everything is fine and I'm generally successful and have friends. I never learned how to love oneself or be happy. Then feel disappointed when they aren't treated the same back. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.